teachers, and we're on a classic old school field trip.
Today's trip is to the classic Seven Wonders of the World.
Andy, if I'm not mistaken, we're looking now at the Colossus of Rhodes.
Of course.
This is, of course, to the sun god Helios. I wonder if this doesn't remind me of...
Well, when you talk about sun, I think transparency. Nothing like transparency in American politics of the fourth estate, the media, the press.
Andy, it is our preferred position. It's found in our First Amendment. Freedom of speech and freedom of press. Andy, I can't think of anything better than to build an inspiring monument for its legacy.
Well, you can have your Constitution, you can have your elections, but if the people aren't allowed to speak out in the press, to speak out, to hold government officials accountable, you really don't have a democratic culture.
And yet there is somewhat of a downside, I suppose, that maybe our streets are less safe. We hear things that maybe we don't want to hear. But without freedom of the press, a government runs wild.
Yeah, we want to see what government's doing. We want to see what promises they make and the intention of their laws. And we want to be able to see if those laws are being carried out effectively and if it matters. And if they're not being carried out effectively, if there are better ways to operate with policy, we should be able to hear and speak out to be able to say, hey, let's do a better job.
And his sun is the perfect disinfectant. Likewise, freedom of speech and freedom of the press cleans up many of our ills in our society. But, we might have to give up some of our security to get there.
Well, you have to give up some of the security. You have to give up the security of feeling good, because with news comes bad news, and you've spoken about that. And it comes uncomfortable feelings that when government officials let us down. But that's the critical role that the press plays, where we're allowed to find out what our government's doing, and then through elections, we the people are allowed to hold government accountable.
And Andy, this idea that we no longer have an objective press, Andy, not unlike the elitist pluralism argument, we live in a pluralist media age, and it is our responsibility as citizens to find media sources, mixed media sources, so we get the full picture. The full picture's out there. Don't rely on one source alone. Andy, I wonder, Socrates said wonder is the beginning of wisdom. Today we wonder about free press and how important it is to our democracy. We're the two teachers. No fancy words.
No fancy suits.
Plain talk about issues you need to know.
Just in time.